All your favorite fall flavors are combined in a healthy and delicious breakfast with my gluten-free pumpkin chocolate chip granola recipe. I'm showing you how quickly and easily you can make a batch of my granola with clean, natural ingredients, including pumpkin, oats, coconut, pecans, pumpkin seeds, maple syrup, chia seeds, flaxseed, cashew butter, coconut oil, and your choice of chocolate chips. With my naturally sweetened granola, you're going to feel great even after you eat this. We're going to start with half a cup of pecans, but you of course could use almonds or cashews if you prefer. So I'm just going to spread them out on my cutting board and then take my knife and just do a little rough chop on them. And you can make them as chunky or as fine as you like. I like to have mine somewhere in between. And then you can empty them into a large mixing bowl. Now we'll add the rest of our dry ingredients, which includes 3½ cups of old-fashioned oats. Now you can also use quick oats, but they are chopped a lot smaller. I like using old-fashioned oats because they're a little bit larger in size, which makes for a slightly chunkier bite of granola. Next we'll add 1/3 cup of shredded coconut, a 1/4 cup of ground flaxseed, 3 tablespoons of chia seeds, 2 tablespoons of coconut sugar, a 1/4 cup of pumpkin seeds, but you could use any seeds that you like, 1 teaspoon salt, 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now we'll give these a quick stir in our bowl. For our wet ingredients, we're going to start with half a cup of pumpkin puree, which is different than pumpkin pie filling, a 1/3 cup of cashew butter, you could also use almond butter, a 1/4 cup of coconut oil, 1/3 cup of maple syrup, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and for extra flavor, a couple drops of maple extract. And I'll just take a fork and mix these together. I find the fork works easiest to quickly mix in the butter. Now we can add our wet ingredients to our dry ingredients. So we'll just pour this right into the center of our bowl. And then using a large spatula, just go around and mix them all together. I find that using this chopping motion as I turn my bowl counterclockwise works really well. Man, that smells so good. Now I promise I haven't forgotten about the chocolate, but we're going to add that in just a minute. To cook your granola, you'll want to use a large baking sheet. Roughly 11 by 17 works really well. And then you'll want to cut a piece of parchment paper that is about 2 inches longer than your pan on both sides. And this is going to make it really easy for spreading your granola, helping to mix it in between, and then transporting it onto your counter and then into a container. Now we can dump our granola right in the middle of our pan. And then I'll hold down the parchment paper with one hand while I spread it out with the other. I love the color and all the textures that are in this granola. That is just beautiful. Now we can add a 1/3 cup of chocolate chips, and you can use any variety that you like that meets your dietary needs. I'm just going to sprinkle them on top of the granola. And I might just hang on to a few left in the container. To cook the granola, we're going to put it into a 350-degree oven for 16 minutes. And then we're going to take the granola out, stir it, mix it around, and put it back into the oven for an additional 16 minutes. And this is going to ensure that our granola gets perfectly toasted all the way through. After the 16 minutes, you'll carefully take out your granola and set it onto a heat-proof surface. And you can see how the edges are toasted, but the center isn't quite as much. So now we're going to take the edges of our paper and just gently lift so the granola on the outer edges comes into the middle. So we'll want to do this on all 4 sides. And we're going to spread the granola back out. And this lets us move some of the granola that was in the middle to the outside and some of the granola that was on the outer edges to the middle. And you can see how the melted chocolate is spreading over the granola, which is going to make some really delicious chunks once it cools. Now we can put this back into our oven for an additional 16 minutes. Well, as soon as my granola was done, I took it out of the oven and then placed it on my counter to cool. And then now using our sheet of parchment paper makes it really easy to transfer it off of our pan. This looks incredible. I love how mixing the granola halfway through creates these melted chocolate chunks that are so yummy. Crunchy. That is so tasty. That is an instant burst of delicious fall flavors. I first get a little bit of the pumpkin, and then I get those spices coming in through the pumpkin pie spice and the cinnamon. And then I get all those crunchy textures from the pecans and the pumpkin seeds and the coconut and the chia seeds. That is just a cornucopia of natural deliciousness. You could easily enjoy this as a bowl of cereal with a little bit of milk, or you could also serve it with some yogurt as a yogurt parfait, or it also just makes a delicious snack. And now using the parchment paper will make it really easy to get it into our storage container. So we're just gonna lift up on the sides and pinch the ends. Lift it up. And get most of it inside our container. Now because this has pumpkin in it, you will want to store it in your fridge, but it will taste great even after 5 to 7 days. But I guarantee you it probably won't last that long. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today to make this delicious granola. And I've included a link to the full recipe in the video description below, and it's on my website, gentletummy.com. And I also invite you to like and subscribe to my channel. And if you know someone else who you think would love this granola recipe, please share the video with them. And I cannot wait to have you hang out with me again in my kitchen.